Should you really listen to fashion YouTubers? There is a lot of advice out there telling you what to wear and what not to wear and how to dress. Should you listen to people like this guy? He's got a pretty big following, and I'll admit, he's one of my main inspirations for starting YouTube. What about this girl? She gives awesome advice, and she does have a pretty decent following as well. What about this guy up in that corner? I don't know if I trust that guy. Anyway, jokes aside, this is something that's been on my mind lately, so I figured I'd make a video about it. That way it makes it a bit easier for you when you're navigating this space for advice on not just this subject, but any subject. This can be applied to not only fashion, but camera advice, tech advice, cycling advice, health advice, anything. But welcome to Essential Style. Let's get right into it. So this video is by no means meant to throw any shade at some of those big fashion YouTubers, such as Alpha M, Men's Fashioneer, or anyone else that has like 500,000 or up subscribers. Because if it weren't for those big YouTubers, I wouldn't be where I am today, and I wouldn't have the success on YouTube that I've had today. So anytime someone on the internet or in real life tells you, you shouldn't wear this or you're gonna look stupid. Don't get caught dead wearing these types of shoes in your 30s, 40s, or 50s, or whatever. And also with other topics as well, don't use last year's camera. You gotta use this year's camera or you absolutely are a horrible filmmaker, YouTuber, whatever. This can be applied to other subjects. So just understand that this is YouTube, this is the internet, this is social media, and those controversial, polarizing topics and opinions that big creators have definitely get them a lot more views than if they were a lot more agreeable. Which brings us to our first point, video titles. So titling a video on YouTube, what I've found is titles that have a more negative spin or a more controversial and polarizing spin on them actually do considerably better than positive titles or nice, agreeable titles. Also, titles that have big, extreme words like amazing hacks, the ultimate way to dress better, don't make these mistakes, this is the worst, big, bold words, like very extreme, like not this is good or this is bad, this is amazing and this sucks. Those titles are always going to get more clicks, they're going to get more impressions. Anyone on YouTube that's trying to grow a significant amount of followers does use these methods of making the title more negative or making it just more extreme. Now, I personally believe that there is a right way of doing this and a wrong way of doing this. Take this video, for example. I'm going to name it something like, should you really listen to fashion YouTubers? I could say, these are the worst fashion YouTubers, or are these the worst YouTubers, or don't listen to them, or they don't know anything. However, that's a bit too much for me, and it just feels a bit too easy to get that negative, because as people, our psychology, we love bad news, we love negativity, so that is definitely what gets a lot of clicks. But there is a right way of doing this, so if I make a video that says, don't make these 5 mistakes because you'll suck, I would do something like 5 mistakes that I made when trying to dress well, when trying to make a video, and so on and so forth. I would try to frame the negativity on an experience that I had. That way I would talk about the mistakes that I made so that I could help you. So I personally don't like it when YouTubers take this too far and they go, this is absolutely the worst, don't listen to this, don't listen to that, these are the 5 mistakes that you're making, because it can start to feel a bit too polarizing, and sure, it works. But me personally, I like it when people are a bit more relatable and not as polarizing. So keep this in mind when you're finding YouTubers and you might feel a little bit attacked by their titles or by their hook in the message the first 5 to 10 seconds of the video, and definitely just gauge on your own. If they're out there just trying to put others down just to get the views, you do what you want, but my opinion, I wouldn't follow them. But take this with a big grain of salt. YouTube, social media does encourage creators like me and others, and you if you create, to actually be more negative and more polarizing than if we were just super nice and agreeable all the time. So the next thing we're going to talk about is thumbnails. Now, thumbnails, similar to titles, the more extreme, the more polarizing thumbnails are actually going to get a lot more clicks and a lot more views for creators out there. And it looks like my tripod is falling. Well, you might see the video just start to slowly fall. But yeah, thumbnails, similar to titles, the more extreme thumbnails out there are actually going to get a lot more clicks and attention than the more subdued, normal thumbnails. I mean, that's just basic common sense. One thing I have a strong dislike for is when creators make this face, that surprise face. I'm not sure where it came from. Probably Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast is an awesome creator. He starts trends. I mean, we could all aspire to be as successful as Mr. Beast, but keep the thumbnails in mind as well. The crazier the thumbnail, the more people are going to click on it. And then the more the YouTube algorithm or YouTube's program is actually going to show that to you. So if you find creators are getting super crazy with thumbnails, it's because that's actually encouraged here on YouTube. Now, I take the same approach with my titles. I do try to spend a lot of time on my thumbnails just because I found it does gain better results, but I'm also not going to sit there and make every single video like, oh my God, or something crazy, or put a whole bunch of colors in it all the time. At the end of the day, the thumbnail should actually keep the promise of why you clicked on the video. So if you click on a thumbnail that's, for example, a supermodel, but then you just see me talking in my kitchen like I am right now, you might feel like you were tricked and you might feel like it was clickbait. One thing that I personally like and when people do, and I've been doing it lately, is that thumbnail should very closely mimic that very first scene of the video. And it's even something I did with this video where you could see I put up all those pictures and then I made that face. That happened within the first 5 seconds, so that will let the viewer know that they're in the right place. And when I see other creators, big and small, doing this, I actually like it, and I like that a lot better than seeing the most crazy thumbnail, the most attention-grabbing thumbnail, because then it's all too easy to get people like you and me to click, and then we watch it and it's a lackluster video. Which now brings us to our next topic. What is their overall message in that video that you're watching? So are they just hooking you with that crazy polarizing thumbnail and title? Or are they actually keeping their promise when you click the video and you're actually in the right place? Also, how is their tone? Are they sitting there saying, if you don't do these 10 things, you're gonna be ugly, and are they constantly repeating that throughout the video? For some reason, if that's the case, that doesn't sit too well with me. I would rather watch someone that says, don't do this if you don't wanna be ugly, and they can mention if you don't wanna be ugly, but are they actually trying to help you? Are they creating curiosity with that title and thumbnail saying, don't do these 10 things, are you ugly? And then are they actually talking about if you don't listen to me, you'll be ugly? Or are they saying, hey, if you don't want to be ugly, I'm going to help. These are 10 things you can do, and then actually trying to help you. Now, I always like it when creators are trying to help their viewers, and some of my very best videos end up being the most helpful videos out there as far as educational content. And it's really some things that people may be wondering, but for whatever reason, they don't trust the big influencers out there to talk about a paid product, or it's just something that they thought about, but they pretty much just gave up. So their overall message in their actual video, once they got you to click, right? Or we, because I'm a creator as well, once we get you to click with the title and thumbnail, how is our message? Are we sitting there talking down to people that don't listen to us, saying you're gonna be a failure unless you listen to me? Or are we actually sitting there and saying, hey, this is how you can succeed, this is how I've succeeded, and I wanna help you? Which is kind of what I'm trying to do in this video, just tell you how I choose if I actually want to follow a creator, if I actually like them, or if I say they're just kind of trying to be a little too negative, too controversial, too polarizing to get themselves views, to get themselves likes, because as we know, bad news circulates like wildfire, and it is easy to go viral by being negative and spreading bad news. It is a lot harder it is a lot harder to go viral. I forget how to talk sometimes. It's a lot harder to go viral just by being yourself and being genuine. Unfortunately, that's human psychology, and it's the world we live in. Also, for the fourth point, just remember that this entire style thing is super subjective. What looks good to your eye may be totally different than what looks good to my eye. You may love wearing a collared polo shirt. You may absolutely hate it. Either way, that's okay. didn't mean to rhyme there. That was pretty lame. You may love the Seiko dive watch like me. You may hate it. You may love glasses. You may hate glasses. It doesn't matter. You may think my forehead is too big and my face is too big and bulgy. That's okay. You may not like my voice, the sound, the style of editing. You just may not like my style overall of communication and editing and making videos than someone else. You may like Alpha M a lot more, and he's a lot more energetic and a lot more loud and a lot more jumpy. I can be as well, but I prefer to be a little bit more subdued because I'm a bit more introverted. And there are tons of examples out there. What looks good or what one person likes, one other person may hate or strongly dislike, and that is totally okay. So you got to take this stuff with a big grain of salt. This is all subjective, and find someone that actually, or a group of people. I have a group of people that I watch and I interact with. Find a group of people that you really vibe with and that you think they give good, genuine advice, and you can either learn from it or be educated with it. In my opinion, I think the new wave of creators is going to be the more genuine, authentic creators, rather than the ones that sit there and do the oh my god face for the thumbnails, screaming at you constantly, just engineering these videos to just get the most likes and the most comments and the most watch time and just chasing the views and chasing the numbers. Also, something else that I pick this out, sometimes I don't even realize it, but do they practice what they preach? If they're pushing a product like, I don't know, a Ulanzi tripod and saying that Ulanzi tripods are absolutely awesome, but then you see them in every single other video after pushing a product like this and they're not actually using this, maybe they're just doing that for the numbers, for the money, which let's be honest, we all have to make money. We all have to put food on the table. But if they're going to push one product on a Monday and then on Tuesday say the product sucks, or now I got to tell you what's the best camera, or now I got to tell you what's the best bicycle, or the best shirt, or the best shoes, or the best jeans, that might not be someone that you can truly trust because they're more just doing it to get their money and to get paid. So at the end of the day, this stuff is all super subjective, and you got to take this with a big grain or pound of salt. Find other creators that vibe with you and that you can relate to, and you'll have an awesome time while learning some great things as well. With that being said, we're going to end the video right here. Hope you enjoyed it. Remember to like, comment, and all that other stuff, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.